Welcome to another transcontinental podcast with Javier Mendez, all the way from Dubai. We can't even see each other. That's how exciting this podcast is. We're going to call it Podcast in the Dark After Dark. What is it, midnight?
It's not. Yeah, it's midnight over here. Yeah.
So you've been like busy. I see you popping up on Instagram. You're the like influencer gang for sure. Does your buddy teach striking the Jaguar striking coach? Does he teach? Does he coach fighters too?
Yes, he does. I think he does private lessons, and he does a lot of fighters that come into the gym over here. Called, I think it's TK Gym. It's called. I've never been there, but it's I guess a very popular gym over here in Dubai.
Okay, so that's where you met all the weightlifters, and then you get to film the guys that were passing out at the movies the other night because that movie theater looked too comfortable. I mean, how can you not pass out there?
It's a private like screening for families that don't want to go to the movies, for all the trouble they'd have to go through. So the Kapinski has its own movie theater for 15 people, and what it is they serve you food, great food, you order what you want, and they ask for your order, then you go and watch the movie, and it's pretty awesome. It's really awesome.
That is a new level, Hav. So we get
Yeah.
a fight coming up. I guess it doesn't matter as it once used to, but still a good fight to watch. And both these guys were, gunning for Islam at one time. But Beneil Dariush is going to be fighting Arman Sarukian. I want to say it properly.
Right.
Two grapple heavy guys. How do you see that fight? That's going to be a UFC on ESPN 52. How do you see that fight going?
Uh, it's a very interesting fight. I don't really know. It just depends on who can get the upper hand, who's got the right training, who's got the right game plan. That's a very tough fight. The last time, I thought Beneil was going to do great against Charles Oliveira, and look what happened. So since I don't train either one of them, I don't really know. It's kind of hard to say, oh, we're the experts. We're no experts. You and I are fans because if we don't, if I, especially me, if I'm not training them, I'm a fan, and I can just say what I think. Because think about it, if I had the right idea every single time, think, and if I was betting, think all the money I'd make, right?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're both well-rounded. Of course, the hungrier guy is Armand. He's a hungrier guy, and he knows what it's like to fight Islam because he fought him before many years ago in Russia in UFC. So he's very good, and he's gotten better, and he's very confident.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see what happens. Let's see who rises to the top. One thing's for sure, we don't know who our next opponent is just yet, but you can kind of think who it could be. It could be Charles, it could be Justin, or maybe it could be the welterweight champion. Who knows? We don't have a fight just yet.
Well, I saw that article recently that Islam wants to stay busy, like get a few fights a year at least, maybe four. I mean, that would keep you working your butt off. I bet that's something you'd like to hear about.
Yeah, I just don't know, what's going to happen. It's kind of hard because, we have ideas, but the UFC is the boss and they have their own ideas. So who knows what they're going to do.
That's true. We had Bobby Green, who's like starting to get like his, standout way a little bit. He was like challenging somebody to step up to him because he's not getting enough competition on his feet. So he's going to be fighting Jalen Turner. How do you see that fight would go?
That's a very interesting fight. Jalen Turner is a striker himself and good striker, but Bobby's so unorthodox. A lot of times you think you're going to hit him, and he's not there to be hit, but he's there to counter. I'll tell you that. No, he's a really good striker. Let's see if the younger guy can beat the older guy. They're both unorthodox. So, I mean, I'm sorry, they're not both. Jalen's not unorthodox. Bobby is. He's very unorthodox.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, can you get away from that secret punch? I guess I get some more. We're back to the AI again. Gotta love AI. I'm just like, tell me what to
AI,
ask the coach. AI, another AI interview. So let's see if which good question I can pick out the top. So, what are the main principles and philosophies of your coaching style?
Uh, you know, the main principles, I guess the main ones are really is tell the truth, tell the truth in a way where it doesn't hurt your fighters. Don't belittle them, lift them up. If you're going to knock them down, lift them up right away. Get their spirits up all the way. Make them leave your workout with a positive, never negative. Never leave your fighter on a negative, never. It's not a good thing. Always leave your fighter with a positive. If you're going to go negative on them, go positive right away. Negativity in the fight game is not my style. It's always positive. If I have to say anything negative, I'll say something. Well, you need to work on this, but then I'm going to bring up something to the fact, just like you do this really well. We need to do that the same way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, this question, interesting. How do you balance the individual needs and goals of your fighters with the team spirit and culture of AKA?
Well, everybody's individual. You balance it by addressing who they are and what their needs are, and what we can provide and what we can't provide. So you balance it by understanding what their needs are, and them understanding what the gym's morale is, what we need to do to stay strong as a team, who we need, who we don't need. In other words, not who we need. I'm sorry, what we need, what we don't need. In regards to, we need teammates that are here for their teammates. In other words, if I have a fight coming up and you're in my weight and I needed you and I was there for you, now it's my turn. Please be there for me.
Yeah, that's right. Having good training buddies that show up, because eventually you're going to need them. And it's not like, oh, you got yours. Hey, what about me? Right. I can see that.
Yes, correct.
So I like this next question. What are some of the challenges and rewards of coaching fighters from different backgrounds and cultures? You're one of the very unique coaches on this one.
Well, the rewards are, you get to see how their culture is, their customs are, and one thing we all appreciate, it's all the same thing, at the end of the day. But you just have to, appreciate them for what they are and not expect them to conform to your way of thinking or your religion or anything of that nature. The only religion we have in the fight world is, fight religion. We all have to train the same. We have to do the same drills, same this, same that. That's it. But everything else, we have to accept who they are and what they are. Because like you said, we have many fighters from different backgrounds, so we have to adjust and we have to conform, and we all basically big one giant big fat happy family.
So, how do you deal with the pressure and expectations of coaching some of the best fighters in the world? That's a great question.
Uh,
Yeah,
well,
you personally, right?
I I basically just look at them as always, what's next? What do they need to work on? Okay, now they're champion, but what do we need to improve on? Because the competition is coming. The competition is coming. They know what you're all about. So what we need to work on to be for you to become ready for the next challenge. So that's my perspective. Every time I have somebody that's a champion already, I look at what's next. What does he need to improve to make sure he keeps his title? Make sure that people see the improvement. Make sure that he's happy. And a happy fighter is a winning fighter.
How do you motivate and inspire your fighters to overcome adversity and achieve their potential? And I know it's not direct. It's a way that you do it. You get a style.
Yeah, it just depends. Everybody's different, but one thing's for sure, if I'm telling a fighter a certain something, I say, hey, when this guy does this particular technique, you leave yourself wide open, but you need to cover up doing this. And they go, yes, coach. But then when it's actually in sparring and they actually do it, then I go, that's it. Remember what we talked about? And I'm yelling at this while they're sparring, and they understand. So see, so they understand from practical application, not from talks. Talks are great, but if you don't apply the talks, they don't work.
Um, this is another interesting one. I like the way it's phrased. How do you assess the strengths and weaknesses of your fighters and their opponents?
Well, it's simple. If you look at somebody, you see, okay, he's got great wrestling. Well, my fighter has great wrestling. Oh, he's got great jujitsu. Well, my guy's got great jujitsu. Oh, he's got great Thai boxing. Well, my guy's got great Thai boxing. Ah, his he doesn't have his boxing is not up to par. Okay, Now we know. We fight boxing range. That's how you do it.
That makes sense. Let's see. How do you measure and evaluate progress and performance of your fighters? Like, how can you tell if they're getting better and you can see it? What do you notice?
Well, the very first thing you notice is who they're sparring. If they sparred with this person, they get beat up all the time, and all of a sudden they're sparring that individual again, and now they're doing much better. Then there's progress. Okay, I'll give you a for instance. Way, way, way long time ago, Josh Thompson, before he became a champion, Josh Thompson used to get in there with a jiu-jitsu instructor that was an incredible jiu-jitsu guy, and Josh would get in there and he'd get submitted like in one round sparring, sometimes two, three, four times in a round, right? He gets submitted, and every time you get submitted by this guy, and all of a sudden Josh goes, "Man, I'm so frustrated. He submits me every time." I go, "Yeah." I go, "Josh, remember what happened the first time he submitted you? How many times?" And then look what happened at the end. How many times he submit you? He goes, "Well, he got me two times." I go, "Yeah, but yeah. Before that, he used to get you two or three times a round. Now you went three, four rounds with the guy, and he got you twice." He goes, "Yeah, you're right." I go, "There you go." So pinpoint on that. Then all of a sudden, a month later, he submitted that person. So it was like, there you go. You point it out, and then they acknowledge because it's actually happened.
I can see that. That's a total measuring stick. How do you communicate and collaborate with other coaches and experts in your network?
I don't. I
No.
don't. I don't collaborate with other coaches. I don't. We don't collaborate at all. My coaches, yes, we work together as a team, but other coaches, no. We don't. We don't collaborate. We have discussions if ever we see each other, but I don't call any other coach. Never have. Never will.
Hmm. How do you promote and protect the health and well-being of your fighters? Like, how do you keep them from being destroyed before getting to the fight? Is another way of saying that.
By telling them a simple thing, if you don't get a good night's sleep, if you're having problems with your girlfriend, your wife, or anybody, then don't spar the next day if you're supposed to spar to get ready for the fight. And if you're not, if you don't want to spar, don't spar. And that is the number one biggest thing that's really helped us decrease injuries. Don't want to spar, don't spar. You're injured, tell us the injury. We'll let you know if you should spar or shouldn't spar. So that's one way that's worked fantastic.
Here's the heavy question. How do you balance your loyalty and friendship with your fighters with your professional and objective judgment? Yeah, I'll just, I guess, make sure everyone's on the same page.
That's pretty much it. Just make sure everybody's on the same page. We follow the rules, and no one's above the rules.
Right.
Just like in the army, no one's above the rules. But our rules are very simple. Stay true, loyal to your teammates. Don't be training at other places when you're training with our guys. If you're going to be training, train with us. And if you want to train with other people, fine. But don't do it while team training is being taken place. You're taking away from your teammates.
That's what that means. Now I understand. It's like it always seemed like something other than it was. It makes sense. They got to be there for the guy that paid it. They're paying it forward or paying it back.
Yeah.
What are some of the skills and qualities that you look for in a fighter?
Well, I mean, obviously, it just depends, but the number one skill I liked is the grappling, because the stand up, we can always work on that. But the grappling, if they're really far ahead of great wrestler or great in jiu-jitsu, those are big pluses. Those are big ones because to me, the ground guys are always at the present time still the ones that can dominate the most. Like Hamza Shemaya, look what he did with Kamaru. It's because he was able to grapple and take Kamaru down that enabled him to win that round. If it wasn't for that, who knows if he would have won? He might not have won had he not taken Kamaru down.
He was calling out Pereira, who just took the 205 strap. I was like, I think that's a little ahead of your time.
Who was calling him out?
Hamzat was.
That's a great fight for Hamzat. Hell yeah, I'd do that too.
Yeah.
I'd call him out all day long. Oh yeah.
At
Oh yeah.
205?
Hell yeah. He's a big boy. He ain't small.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I would call him out myself. Yeah. Hamzat, that's a good move. Very good move.
Yeah, he's gonna go through a few things to get there, I'm sure. What are some of the trends and innovations that you see in MMA coaching?
Um, Well, I mean, almost everybody's trained the same. Everybody knows that they have to do the same kind of training. They have to do ground. They have to do stand up. They have nutrition. I mean, it's all the same. Everybody's on the same page. So now it's a matter of athletes, not matter of great coaching. It's a matter of great athletes, and it's always been that, but now it's more so.
This one's a good one. What are some of the goals and aspirations that you have as a coach and a person? I don't think I've ever asked you that. Like, how far do you want to take it, Hav?
Well, I want to always be in the top 10. I've said it and many years ago that my goal is to, stay in the sport until I'm buried and stay in the top 10, for the rest of my life. And so far, so good. We're still in that category, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the Habib and Islam questions. What are the main similarities and differences between Habib and Islam Makhachev as fighters and as people?
Well, they're all different. Islam is more the quiet guy. Habib has got the great taglines. Habib is more the vocal leader. Islam is more the silent leader. They're both leaders, but Habib is Islam's leader. And their style is completely different, but they both have incredible grappling from Habib's father. So they both have incredible abilities. And Umar is another different one also. He's got incredible dynamic striking, and but they all have one thing in common, Habib's father.
How do you approach coaching Habib and Islam given their different personality and styles? Okay, like what would you coach different for Habib or Islam? What would be a difference in the style that you would coach them?
Not much different. Just have Habib become, what Islam is. Learn how to kick, learn how to knee, do everything. That's it. But they all get trained the same, no different, because they both have the strong points, except that Islam was a better striker because he worked more on that. Habib didn't. So the only issue was just getting Habib to become, a better striker.
Here's a good question. How do you deal with the pressure and expectations of coaching two of the best fighters in the world? One's past tense, one's current, in the same division. Well, actually, no, you've had two people the same weight class, same division, but different leagues. How do you deal with the pressure and expectations of keeping champions, working with champions, and is there any kind of stress or anything that you're going through dealing with that?
Zero stress, zero. They don't give me any problems. They don't give me any lip about what they want, what they don't want. No, it's very easy.
But the expectations, like I guess the world or your gym or their team, like do you have stress from that, or do you have any like pressure? Like, okay, we got to get there. We got to get there. I'm sure. I mean,
No, zero,
everything's online.
zero, zero.
Amazing, amazing. Let's see. How do you assess the strength and weaknesses of Habib and Islam and their opponents? Okay, well, this is kind of like a question like, how do you size up a fighter between one of your guys before the fight, right?
Yeah, we already went through that, and the same thing. Just look and see what you have, what you don't have. I mean, nobody can beat Habib on the ground, so he was always going to be the guy that mostly took everybody down because nobody can compete with him. Still to this day, if Habib was fighting, he still would be the best ground guy ever. So, but the thing is, present when Habib retired at the end, Habib was a great strike, not a great striker, but he got so good at striking that he can fight with great strikers because he has the element of being able to take you to the ground and then dominate you on the ground.
Yeah, we saw that when he hit Connor in the head. How did you design a training program and a game plan for Habib when he was fighting?
I just looked at his opponent and I basically worked on what he needed to. I'll give you just one example. When he fought Justin Gagey, I said the biggest weakness that I see for us is Justin is a great leg kicker, and you're not such a great leg checker, so you need the leg check. That's my biggest issue, And so we kept working on that, and it got to the point where Habib goes, Coach, how can I focus on the fight if you keep having me focus on leg checking? I'm going, that's not your job to focus on the leg checking. It's my job to keep reminding you to do it. So that's all I care about. Just do it. Don't worry about it. It'll happen. And after the fight happened, he just looks at me and he said, Coach, why did you tell him the game plan? Because he got hit some good shots to the calf. So he understood how difficult it would have been had he not practiced protecting himself from leg kicks to the calf.
He's like, you're making me paranoid about them or something, right? Like, why do you keep talking about these things, right?
Yeah,
The whole
yeah.
camp.
But it wasn't talking. It was just him doing.
Hmm. I guess I'll close with this one. What are some of the most memorable moments and achievements with either Habib or Islam in their time? Like, which the more memorable with Habib and more memorable moment or achievement with Islam?
Uh, well, with Islam, the biggest memory, I mean, was just how great he did the last fight and how he
Hmm.
finished it with that beautiful kick.
Yeah,
And with Habib, the greatest time would be, I'd have to say, with Connor.
yeah,
Yeah.
finishing. Uh, I could see the kick though being really significant with Islam, especially with all the heat and the just MMA chatterbox chatter that was going on. Like that wasn't a win, blah blah blah, and then shutting the door on that. That must have been very very satisfying for you.
It was like, okay, now what? Now there's nothing. You can't say nothing. Nobody could, and nobody did. We didn't say nothing either. We didn't say, now what? Shut up. We didn't say that. Move on. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a professional. You're supposed to just move on. Go on to the next step.
So, how much more time do you have left over there in Dubai?
I have uh, one more month. I was gonna stay here till January 15th, but Habib said that probably I'll come back early because Umar is probably gonna come to camp in January. So whenever Umar comes to San Jose, I'm there.
Okay, I'm sure you're looking forward to that. So he's in. Sounds like he's making his recovery pretty good then, if he's ready for camp.
Well, he's been training. He's been on rehab and he's been doing his thing. So we'll know in a couple days when Umar's return is going to be. So we'll see. But I'm assuming he's going to fight at the beginning of the year. I just don't know when or who.
No, okay. Well, hopefully, someone in the top five. You're hoping, or top 10 at least.
He deserves someone in the top 10 or five, mostly preferably the top five. And then my projection is I want him fighting for the title 2024. I want him fighting for the title.
Your wish will happen because you wish for it, Av. At least
Yeah,
I hope so. Anything else
me
exciting
too.
doing? You're just going to bounce around and meet your new friends. Anybody wants to keep up with what's going on with Coach Javier? Check out his Instagram at AKA Jav, AKA JAV. And
AKA Job? What do you mean AKA Job? Don't do
Jav,
that.
Jav. No, it's Jav.
Hob, not Job. Hob.
I was sounding it out just, just in case you're trying to spell it. People will
Okay.
be looking AKA HAV or whatever. Well, anyways, I was good talking with you, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Enjoy the nice weather in winter in Dubai. It's
Okay.
probably pretty awesome. I'll talk to you soon. Let's see.